today's topic is going to be on nutrition. So the objectives for the day are students will be able to identify the warning signs of poor nutrition and what you can do to improve your diet, and students will be able to draw conclusions about the importance of a healthy diet. So these are objectives right here. For the content that we're going to learn. Okay, so the first thing I want everybody to do is, as a group, we are going to brainstorm some things that we eat every day. It can be anything. We can talk about the things we eat in the morning, the things we eat while we're at school, the snacks we have after school, the things we eat with our families when we come home for an evening meal. So we're going to take about 5 minutes and we're going to brainstorm some of these ideas. Fast forwarding. Okay. So, what are, of the list that we made, what are some examples of some unhealthy foods? So what comes to my mind are things like potato chips and candy and donuts. Some of these things taste really good, but they can, if you eat too many of them, can cause problems in your diet later. How often should we eat unhealthy foods? Rarely. On the food pyramid that we're going to look at in a little bit, it says sparingly. That means not very much. Okay. So for this next activity, before we get into the lesson any further, I want you to pick a position about how you feel, or pick a side, how you feel about agreeing with the statements that I'm going to hand out to you. So, in the left-hand side of the column on the sheet of paper that you have agree, which is right here, and then you have disagree, which is right here. So, agree means yes, that you agree with the statement. Disagree means no, you do not agree with the statement. So in the middle, you have 5 different statements. These 5 statements are what you're agreeing with or disagreeing with. So for the first statement, having a good diet is not important. So I'd want you to circle whether yes, having a good diet is important, so you agree with it, or no, you disagree that having a good diet is not important. So I'm going to give you some time, and you're going to complete this by yourself. If you have any questions, I'm going to be walking around the room to help you with these statements. So the first one was having a good diet is not important. Number 2, if you have a good diet, you can help prevent disease. So disease means things like problems with your heart, being overweight, things like that. If you do not have a lot of money, it's okay to eat badly. Eating a healthy diet will help improve my energy level. So energy meaning your willingness or your want to play and exercise and go do things other than just sit on the couch and not do anything. Eating a healthy diet will help me live a longer life. So those are the 5 questions. If there are any questions before you get started, go ahead and raise your hand. So I'll give you about 5 or 7 minutes to complete this. Okay. So now that we have completed our anticipation guide, we are going to move on to looking at the food pyramid. So in this pyramid, you see at the very bottom, this is the liquids that we need in our diet. Described here are the different types of liquids that are good for you to have. So water, fruit or vegetable juice. This doesn't mean Kool-Aid or the juice boxes. It means 100% juice from a fruit. So maybe you made it yourself. We'll learn about reading food labels a little bit later. Another option is low and non-fat milk. That also is in another category that we'll talk about. Or soup. Soup has water in it, and that's a good way to get hydrated. And these are 8 or more servings. So these are 8-ounce glasses, so you got to drink 8 or more of those a day. The next category is grains. And grains are considered whole wheat bread, brown rice, and bran cereals. So these types of foods are going to be darker in color as opposed to a yellow or a white. And these you want to get 6 or more servings a day. The next is the vegetable group. Everybody knows what a vegetable is. So the leafy greens, your carrots, all the yummy stuff like that. That is going to be 3 or more servings. Your fruit group, so we have watermelon and grapes, and a lot of the things that you guys brainstormed on the board fall into this category, and this is 2 or more servings. And we'll talk about the serving size a little bit later. The next category is a bunch of different things are classified in this one. So you have meat, poultry, which is chicken or birds, fish, eggs, beans, and nuts. Those all fall into this category. So that's going to be 2 or more servings of that. And then we have dairy. So dairy is anything that can come from a cow. So milk and yogurt and cheese. And these are generally left to the low and non-fat types. Those are the kinds with the least amount of fat in them. So the last, very top, tippy top of this pyramid is the things that we should eat the least of. So these are fats, oils, and sweets. So what are some of the things that we can think of that would fall in this category? So maybe oils, like peanut oil and donuts and candy and soda, things with lots of sugar. They taste really good, but they're not the best for you. Okay, so using the food pyramid that we just went over, we're going to take some time to work in a group or by yourself. You can work at your tables, whichever you would prefer, but we are going to classify the different types of food and the different serving sizes with the categories we just talked about. So the categories that we talked about were in the pyramid, and they're all across the top right here. So we have the fats, oils, and sweets, dairy, the meat, poultry, which poultry means chicken or bird, fish, eggs, beans, and nuts. And then we have vegetables, fruits, grains, which are what in color? Brown, good, and water. On the left-hand side, we have either the serving size or a picture of the food. So, you're going to read the serving size, so 2 or more servings. If we go back to our food pyramid, we can see that 2 or more servings has a couple different categories. So we can put X's. So we see that meat, poultry, and fish have 2 or more servings. And the fruit group also has 2 or more servings. So we can come back here, 2 or more servings. Fruit has it, and meat and poultry also has it. So we'll put an X there. So now we know that Meat, poultry, fish, eggs, beans, and nuts, and fruit both require you to have 2 or more servings. The next one, what is this a picture of? Bread, yes, and it's kind of brown in color, so we know it's whole wheat. And what category is bread in? Well, bread is a grain, so we're going to put an X in the grain category. Sparingly. So sparingly means a little bit, or not on a regular basis. You don't eat it all the time. You want to eat very little of this. And if we go back to our food chart, we see that fats, oils, and sweets are to be eaten sparingly. We're going to go over here, find that, find the fats, oils, and sweets, and we're going to pick an X right there. So those are the first 3, and for a little bit, I want you guys to try and figure the rest of these ones out. So I'll go over the pictures with you just in case there's any confusion. But these are nuts. We have eggs. There's water. We have another of 2 or more servings. So that's kind of a gimme, but we'll always remember which 2 groups have 2 or more servings. We have a banana. This is broccoli. 8 or more servings. Cheese. Donuts. 3 or more servings. Chicken. Pasta. And then 6 or more servings. So these are the categories, and then don't forget, right up here we have the different categories. So again, you're going to take this chart and you're going to use it the same time. You're going to use this food pyramid to help you fill in the different squares. So I'm going to give you about 3 to 7 minutes to get going on this, and then we'll check in and see if there's any questions, and then I'll let you work on it some more again. So you can work alone, or you can work in groups. So if you have any questions, you can ask the people around you, or you can ask me. But let's go ahead and see if we can get this activity started.